I had this one class, grade 5s. I hated this one kid. Man, I felt like hitting him. You're not allowed, though. That's not allowed. It's frustrating, because it used to be allowed. Sometimes I think teachers should seriously, the way kids are today, they should get a one-hit pass at the beginning of the year. You get to use it once, one hit. That way, before kids will swear at you, they'll think, I wonder if he's used his pass yet this year, before I act like a moron. Then if you don't use them one year, you get to collect them like sick days at the end of your career. You can walk around whacking kids when you're 65. Don't go near him, man. He's nuts. He's got 35 hits left. Don't go near him. Ridiculous. You can't hit him. Billy was just hated this kid. Then I realized one day, you know what? There's nothing that says you can't hit him if you play dodgeball with him. That was the best thing I ever figured out in all my years of teaching. Every day we would play dodgeball. I'd use tennis balls too to speed it up a little bit. Sometimes I'd keep them in the staff room fridge in case it got hot. And I would pick teams. I'd be like, all right, playing dodgeball again. So we play this every day. Yeah, well, you're a every day, Billy, so. And I would pick teams, right? And I'd always try to be unbiased, but I was, okay, Billy, you're on that side. Yeah, face the wall over there. Good luck today, okay? And I'm gonna go on this side. I'm gonna be on this team. I'll be the captain, because I'm the best player. And the rest of you go wherever the hell you want. I don't even care if you stay in the gym. You go home for all I care. We don't need witnesses for this game of dodgeball. And I'd always look for the good tennis balls, the ones where the fuzz were all shaved off. Remember those? Those were the best, because you could hear the leather when it hit them. Oh! I got you right in the face, Billy. Wow! Where are you going, Billy? You know you're not out. No, it's above the net. You're okay. Come on back. Yeah. You're still alive.
Clap if you have kids. Okay, now clap if you don't have kids. Okay, you don't have to celebrate that you don't have kids. I just wanted to know how many people didn't have kids. You don't have to. It's okay. I mean, it's a lot of fun tonight, but you're gonna die alone, but no, it's fine. It's okay. Whatever, like do whatever you want. No, we already blew it, but no, I have a 5-year-old, and he's great. But he's in that age. He have a lot of energy, and kids of that age, there's two ways to stop them. You know, morphine or the phone. You know, and you know that the phone is bad for them. You know that it's poison for their brains, but it's so effective. You know that if you give a kid a phone and you, I don't know, take a walk for 3 days, and you come back, he's gonna be in the same spot, and he's probably gonna learn how to fish or something, you know. But I know that it's bad for him. I know, but at the same time, you have to find a balance in life. You know, you know that every minute I have the phone, he's getting dumber and dumber, but you have to be okay with it. You know, it's like, well, he's not gonna learn math, but I'm gonna finish this movie. You can't have everything in life, you know. I don't like to give him the phone, but sometimes we have done it. We were at a restaurant the other night, and we were like, okay, 5 minutes. You can have the phone for 5 minutes. And of course, they go to the darkest places on the internet right away. I don't know how they do it, but you're like, okay, you can watch 5 minutes of Baby Shark. A minute later, he's watching a shark eating a baby. I don't know how. I was like, okay, let's try to have a conversation. Let's try to pretend we still love each other while he's checking this video. And a little lady from another table just came running. She's like, beep, 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 beep. And sit down right next to my boy and start watching this video. And her mom just came running, like very angry. She came running, just grabbed the girl, and she's like, no, we don't do that. And we were like, what the is wrong with this woman? I know what we're doing is wrong, but like, don't say it out loud, you know? Don't judge your style of parenting in a restaurant, mother. Like, and I look at this woman's face, and she was like the Oscar-winning actress Anne Hathaway. And I was like, calm down, calm down. It's not the movie The Princess Diary. Of course, I didn't say that. I was like, thank you for looking me in the eye. Please insult me more. So stupid. I think kids of that age, they're so weird because they don't share any information about what's going on in their lives. You know, like in school specifically. Like every time I pick up my son from school, I'm like, hey, how was your day? And he's like, I don't remember. And it's like, how? I mean, you should remember everything. You're a kid. I just pick you up, and your brain is new. You have so much storage in your brain. But he's like, I don't remember. I don't remember. But the weirdest thing is, like, 3 hours later, he shared a piece of information about his day with no context. You know, we're doing something else. I don't know, we're having dinner. And he's suddenly like, Ryan cried. And it's like, what happened to Ryan? And he's like, I don't remember. So we think he killed Ryan. I think he's in a cult. That's all. That's what he's not sharing.
I think about having kids. I do. I'm 37. I could have kids. I think about it. Until literally every time I call my brother, who has 3 boys under the age of 12. Yeah. Every time I call him, 30 seconds into our phone call, his entire life turns into the back half of the film Point Break. We'll just be chatting along, and then out of nowhere, he's like, 1 second, what's in your hands? Show me those hands! One's on the roof, one's on the roof. Where'd you get a Nixon mask? That joke does better if you've seen Point Break. I think it's crazy how quickly in life we separate children on whether or not they have a chance at life. We do. You may be like, what do you mean? What I mean is reading groups. That's when there's 6 and we're like, split them up. These are the maybes and these are just keep them busy. But they don't say like which one's the smart group and which one's the dumb group. They're cute with it. They're like, you're the red group and you're the blue group. But even at 6, you know. You're like, shit. My group loves glue. We can't get enough of this stuff. We're doing like glue charcuterie, you know? Like, why don't you take the glue stick, dip it in some wet cement? Yeah, it freaking rocks, okay? Maybe we should read a little bit. And they're like, we would, but remember how last reading we glued all the books shut? Damn it. We did and it rocked. It was fun. I remember one time, our teacher went to split it up. She's like, red group over here, blue group over here. And my buddy was like, we're not the blue group, we're the glue group, right? And I was like, no. We shouldn't be proud of what we're doing. We should be ashamed. This story is just dedicated to the fallen brothers of the glue group. A lot of them aren't here anymore. Yeah, they blew up a lot of garages. Yep. They went out doing what they did best, guys. Just not reading instructions at all.
I try and be a real parent. Right? And what I mean by that is try and be real. If I'm a little bit selfish during the birth of my child, I'll tell you, but I'm never going to claim to be perfect. I hate fake social media parenting. Make it seem like they're amazing parents. And what they do is they do this thing where they say things their kids have said. They post things that their kids have said. Oh my God, my son just said this and this is mental. And it's always some like socially conscious woke point that this 3-year-old has made. And you know that 3-year-old didn't say it because you met that 3-year-old. And that 3-year-old is a f***ing idiot. Last time I saw him, he was eating a pair of socks with a knife and fork and wearing potato waffles on his feet. So I don't know if he's making statements like that. You know what I'm talking about? It's parents who will say things their kids have said, so you think, oh, you've raised them so well. And then they blow up. These posts blow up. You know, some woman, you know, being like, was driving my daughter through Belfast earlier, and she said to me, Mummy, can I ask you something? And I said, darling, you can ask me anything. In brackets, that's a relationship we have. She said, Mummy, is that a man or a woman in the car beside our car? Is it a man or a woman? Because I'm not sure. And I said, yes. And she said, Mummy, thank you. I guess love is love. 12,000 likes. And you know it didn't happen, you know? Some guy being like, I was driving my son to school today and he said to me, Daddy, can I have more pocket money? And I said, come on, son. There's a cost of living crisis on. There are people less fortunate than us. You know, not everyone gets bought the very expensive gifts that I'm able to buy for you and your brothers and sisters. Why do you need more money? You should actually be thinking of ways to give your money away. And my son said, like all the charity work you do, Daddy. And I said, son, I do not like to go on about that. And my son said, but Daddy, did you not do that abseil down that hotel in 2002? With your bad back, that must have been so sore. I said, son, shush. I said, son, why do you need more pocket money anyway? And he said, well, Daddy, I don't think we should just stop at walking a mile in the shoes of asylum seekers. He said, Daddy, I need more money because I want to buy shoes for asylum seekers. Daddy, I want to buy a memory foam Skechers for a Syrian immigrant. That's what I want to do, Daddy. My wee man. He's 7 months old. You know that didn't happen because kids don't talk like that. My kids don't talk like that. If I tweeted and posted what my kid said, my 3-year-old, it would not go viral. It wouldn't change the world because he's not this like political-minded, woke guy. My 3-year-old just talks like a 3-year-old. I can't tweet this. My son said to me recently, I was driving him in the car. My son said, Daddy, can I ask you something? I said, yeah, mate, what do you want to know? He said, Daddy, being serious, do you think anyone has ever pricked their nose so hard that they died? I said, I don't know, we're looking that up. Let me tell you, we're looking that up when we get home. That is a cracker. Imagine. My wee man. You want to learn them stuff as well? Want to be a good teacher for my son, but you don't always know the answer straight away. I was driving my son recently. My son said, Daddy, can I ask you something? He's 3. I said, what do you want to know, mate? You ask me anything, I'll tell you the answer. He said, Daddy, see all the seas in the world? Is that all one sea, Daddy, or is it all wee different seas? I said, what? 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 Hell. What do you mean? Is it? What do you? Do you mean like is all the different seas I tell you about like on the wee map we have, like I show you them, like the Atlantic Sea, the Irish Sea, and the Mediterranean? I said, do you mean are they all like separate, like individual bodies of water, or is it all like all joined up seas? He said, yeah, Daddy, are they all different or is it all joined up? I said, I'm on the hard shoulder with the hazards on, right? I said, Well, they have different names, so there would be different. We'll ask your mummy when we get home. We'll have a laugh for her trying to explain it. She won't know. Some adults wouldn't know that, and you should think about that because some adults don't. Shut up! And he started asking me more stuff. So I obviously just put all the back windows down, sped up, because if you're on the motorway once you hit 70, it goes in his wee ears, and he's so Daddy Mairdre. So I said, well, stop being weird. Like you guys know the answer. Yeah, it's a big giant sea. All joined up. Wouldn't be possible.
One kid smoked pot every day. Unbelievable. Pot. This kid would smoke it every morning, 9 o'clock, first period. Walk in stoned every day like I'm stupid. I can't tell you're stoned, it's 12th grade. You stick out like a sore thumb. Teachers aren't idiots. Then I thought about it. I think the only grade that kids could have smoked up before class and walked in without getting caught was kindergarten. That's the only grade. Think about it. You could have smoked up all you want before kindergarten. Stormed into class. No one would know. It took everybody an hour and a half to get their coat and boots off. You smoke up all you want. You'll be taking forever to get your boots off. So would everybody else. You'd be like, God, everybody's smoked up today. Look at this. Who's the dealer? Imagine being stoned at the age of 4. That would be hilarious. Trying to get that piece of crap $8 snowsuit off. Remember this thing from Kmart? Had one zipper. Started at your forehead. Couldn't breathe for the first 3 minutes of the day. Got stuck 15 times. You're stoned out of your mind, walking around going, God, it's hot. It's hot. It's June, why am I wearing a snowsuit? This pot is screwing up my ability to recognize the seasons. What kind of crap zipper was that? One zipper. When only the left leg came out, remember? It started up here, wrapped around a couple times, in case it wasn't on tight enough, we'll wrap it up. And then only the left leg, that's how it was made. People making it were like, let the little potheads figure it out. We don't need 2 zippers. So you're stoned out of your mind and you can't get it off. You're like, I can't get the right leg out. And you're dragging around your snowsuit. You think it's a dead body because of the pot. You're like, whoa, there's a dead body. You're getting tired. That's a great grade to be stoned. Miss, I'm tired. When's our nap? Oh. Did I miss snack time? I'm starving. I'm so hungry.
I don't know how to cook. I never learned. I should have. My mom tried to teach me growing up. I was arrogant about it. I was like, I don't need to learn this now. I know where the grocery store is. I'll figure it out when I'm an adult. And then I tried to do that and realized that is impossible because if you don't know how to cook, you also don't know how to shop because foods are not together in the grocery store. The grocery store is a place where someone has disassembled foods and hid the pieces all over a building. I gotta wander around a warehouse trying to reverse engineer tacos from memory. So like I could cook, but it would just be worse. And that's no good for anybody, because groceries cost the same, regardless of your skill level. I found that out as well. I can't cut a deal with the butcher. Like, listen, I'm gonna ruin these steaks, I promise. We're talking brown all the way through. I don't know how to make them pink in the middle. I've never seen it. Anybody could knock a couple of bucks off? But no, there's no such thing as training steaks. So my wife cooks, and in exchange, I do the dishes. I'm told this is a very common arrangement with successful couples, right? Cook people love bringing it up. If you're not gonna cook, you gotta do the dishes. That's fair, that's even, that's the trade. And while I am willing to do the dishes, I do not agree that this is an even trade. Now I know there are dish people in this room right now that are hesitant to get on board with me because you are sitting with the cook person in your life. And that is fine, stare straight ahead quietly. I'll say what needs to be said. Dishes sucks. all right? Cooks sucks the whole time. It's not satisfying or fulfilling. There's no fun new dish recipes that we get to try. And it's even worse doing the dishes for someone who is cooking and knows that they will not be doing the dishes. Because this causes them to use every possible dish. I'll just put this mustard into a little bowl and then I'll put it in the pan. Just take it out of the jar and put it in the pan. For God's sake, run the spoon under some water for 3 seconds. Instead of just gluing it to the countertop. There you go, it lives there now. Get that off in the morning with a butter knife. Dishes is awful, right? It's what they threaten you with at a restaurant if you can't pay your bill. They don't mention the police. They're like, you're gonna have to do dishes, the worst thing in the world. Cooking's not even close. People love cooking, right? They devote their lives to it. There's entire TV shows where they watch other people do it. Every single one of those shows, they put a camera in their face. What are you gonna do if you win the cooking cook contest? And they all go, I'm gonna buy a restaurant so I can cook all the time. I love cooking. There is not one show devoted to dishes. We don't get a show. There's no show called Scrubbed. I'm like, all right, under this cloth, there's a bunch of dirty dishes. You can use any kind of sponge you want. Everybody ready? It's all cast iron pans. Yeah! So my wife cooks, is what I'm telling you. And I'm the snack man, all right? I love snacks. I love choosing snacks. I like offering snacks. I like eating snacks. I like all snacks. I do have a favorite snack. I do think the top snack in the world is popcorn. Popcorn's number one. It is on top, in my opinion, because of its versatility. First of all, you can do anything with popcorn. Whatever mood you're in, popcorn's got you covered, right? You can put cheese on it, caramel. You take a left into Savory Town, or you can drive down the road to Sweetville. Popcorn's riding shotgun the whole time. You don't even have to eat it. You can put it on a string for a wedding in a trailer park. I believe that popcorn is so good that it's the reason why we all have microwaves. Because they're not good at anything else. General Electric should be digging up Orville Redenbacher and kissing him on the lips every weekend. He sold every microwave in rotation today. If you think I'm lying, go look at a microwave. What does the top left button say? Yeah, it says popcorn, all right? It's above the numbers. Do you understand? They're like, don't do math, that's for burritos. We know why you're here. Microwave popcorn was incredible. It changed the game. And I think the reason why microwave popcorn was so successful is because some people in this audience may be old enough to remember what it was like to make popcorn at home before the microwave. Yeah, it was like cooking meth. It was insane. It was quite literally the most dangerous thing you could do on a residential property. Parents would be like, get the kids out of the kitchen, I'm making popcorn out here. Turn their faces away from the oil. By the way, I'm pretty sure our insurance doesn't cover this. So if anything goes wrong, I was baking a pie, a corn pie.
Women love cards, though. They love it. My girlfriend loves it. You ever give your wife or your girlfriend a card out of the blue, too? They just freak out. They do. Hey, honey, here, I picked up some milk, and oh, yeah, I got you a card. You got me a card? Do you have any idea how many headaches Apparently not. No, I didn't know. This means you were thinking of me. How long ago were you planning this? Like a month? Yes. Which is another lie, right? Guys buy cards 5 minutes before we give them to you. We fill them out at a stop sign, right? Yeah, I love you, whatever. Couple XOs on the bottom, underline a couple words, right? Then we throw out the little brown bag and the receipt, because that's evidence. You don't want to get caught with that. I've been in the car. You get back in there with your girlfriend 5 minutes later, unexpectedly. You didn't expect for her to be there, and she finds it. You idiot, you bought this card 21 minutes ago. And you got a Butterfinger first, you fat ass. You know what this car about the card? They don't represent real life. That's the problem. These cards you get are ridiculous. The big sunset with the 2 deer drinking out of the pond, creating the ripples of water. That's not our life. It should say, I'm fat, you're fat. See you in the kitchen in 10 minutes. Cards are important to them, though, because, and getting, more importantly than just getting a card, is getting the right card. It's got to be like a mood thing and everything. It's got to be the right card for the right moment. They really put their time and effort into getting cards. You ever been stuck behind a woman at Hallmark? When they're shopping for a card, it's like a chess move to them, right?
Oh, my family loved me. I was loved, I was cared for, but they didn't know what to make of me. My father didn't tell me he loved me till I was 25 years old. And I moved. I moved from New York to California, and I would end every phone conversation by saying, all right, I gotta go, love you, Pop. And I didn't hear anything for about 6 months. Then one day I said, all right, I gotta go, love you, Pop. And I heard, hey, a walk's as good as a hit. Once I forgot to say it. I'm like, all right, I gotta go. Hey, you forget something. Oh yeah, I love you, Pop. Then after about a year and a half, I'm like, all right, I gotta go. I love you, Pop. Yeah. I love you too. Oh, that was big. That was huge for him. My father was tough. We had a sink in our garage. He used to wash up after work. He would clean the dirt under his fingernails with a hunting knife. And that's when he would talk to you like, How was school today?
Good, Daddy. It was real good.
School's very important. You're not there to mess around. You're here to get an education. I find you messing around in school, I'm going to be very upset. You understand me?
Oh, yeah. They might let me teach next week. That's how well things are going for me.
Yeah, my father was my hero. Him and Spider-Man. Because Spider-Man was just a kid from Queens that got bit by a radioactive spider. I'm from Queens. There were spiders in the basement. My mother had a microwave. Don't you think I tried? My mother goes, there's spiders in the microwave! Yeah, it doesn't work. My mother's in one of those 55 and over communities, you know, with the guard. Apparently, she can't be left unattended or she'll spread guilt and lasagna throughout the neighborhood. So. And the guard is older than she is. The guard's an old dude with a bow tie. I'm like, man, how secure do you feel knowing Orville Redenbacher has the left flank? Are you kidding me? And he's one of these guys, it's a power trip. Every time I go to see my mother, he's standing in the street like this. Halt. Really, Larry? Halt? What are you, at a Nazi border crossing? Get out of the way. I gotta take my mother to the foot doctor. Yeah, I don't get to see her as much as I'd like to, my mom. But I call every other day. And here's the 3 beats in any phone call with my mother. What she ate, who's dead, and what's wrong. Yeah. Hi, Ma. Hi, Adam. I made a chicken. Do you remember Laverne Falcone? No, Ma. Good, because she's dead. Then she starts with what's wrong. Now, what's wrong takes a while, but she really doesn't need you there. You just need to hum to keep her going, like, So I put her on speaker and I just get stuff done around the house. I did my laundry once. I cut the whole lawn with her in the headphones. She had no idea. I went through security at JFK with my mother on the speaker in the bin. Shoes off, belt off, she's still going, man. I don't know what it is. My feet keep swelling up. They're getting bigger and bigger every damn day. They're wanding me right now, and the toenail is starting to change color. I'm a little concerned about that, I gotta be honest with you. The guy wanding me looks up and says,
You know, my mother had the same thing. It could be the gout. Ask her if it's the gout.
Ma, you think it's the gout? It's not the gout, you stupid.
Look, I'm sorry I brought it up. Have a safe flight. You're good.
Yeah, that's my family. That's the drama in my family. You ever anyone in your family just has drama in their voice? To this day, I call up my brother Johnny. I go, hey, Johnny, it's me. I can't talk right now. Then don't pick up your phone. What the hell are you yelling at me for? Every moment in my childhood was a crisis. It didn't matter how insignificant. Everything was a tragedy. It was like growing up in an opera. It was like, you took my keys. You took my keys. I know you took my keys. I did not. I did not. I did not. The toilet's clogged. Again. Bring me the plunger. I will fix it. Get it yourself. Get it yourself. I am not your slave. I will plunge a toilet. I will plunge a toilet. What do I see? It's my keys.
And so I have like 4 old dude male comic friends who I swear to God are nice enough guys. But they have recently said to me that you can't even flirt anymore, man. You can't even flirt. You talk to a woman, she thinks you're harassing her. And I have this to say. Are you sure you're flirting? Because I've never flirted in my life. I am married, but not because of any interpersonal skills, right? I'm married because of online dating. Online dating is the last bastion of you can go somewhere and look at each other and both of you go, well, I would make out with that. Would you make out with this? And then you move forward from there. And that's why I'm married. Prior to internet dating, I had 2 ways of hitting on guys, and one of them was stone cold sober. If I liked a guy, I would stand next to him for years. Absolutely never successful. Second way, I get liquored up. I'd go to the bar. I'd walk up to any promising dude and go, "This needs a tune-up. You want in?" Neither one of those is flirting. One of them is harassment. Right here. How do we know? How do we know? Because of how the men would respond. That's how we know. Almost all of them said, "Ew, no." And then some of them said, "Sure?" We then proceeded to have what can only be called consensual but regrettable sex. I don't know. And then I looked up the definition of flirting. Flirting is harassment. That's the definition. It's either successful harassment or unsuccessful harassment. The best definition of flirting I read was this one: an interaction with another person wherein you make the other person feel good about themselves. Ooh. Who's doing that? And then I realized who's doing that, and it's my dad. My father is an aluminum siding salesman, though vinyl is final, steel is for real. Still selling Elliott Kashian, Milwaukee, windows, doors, anything you need, roofing. But I recently found out that he hit on one of my best friends, Maria Bamford, at my wedding. Now, in his defense, at my wedding, Maria Bamford was a tiny 35-year-old blonde woman, which is his favorite kind of person. But she told me this, and I was like, "I'm so sorry." And she said, "Don't be sorry. He didn't touch me. He didn't even say anything weird. I just got the impression that he thought I was pretty." I was like, "That's that crazy definition of flirting. How did he do it?" She goes, "I have no idea." So, the last time I was home, I had dinner with my dad, and then I had breakfast with my dad. And at breakfast, I said, "You hit on Maria Bamford using some weird skill. What was it?" He was like, "It's a sales technique, Jackie. It's called the post-close warm-up. I've been trying to teach all you kids how to do it since you were born." Is anyone listening to me? He said, "I hit on the waitress. We went out to dinner last night. We hit on the waitress last night using the post-close warm-up. You were there." And I was like, "I remember you hitting on the waitress, Dad. I also remember it not being successful." And he goes, "It's not always going to be successful. It's a waitress. That is a hostage situation. She keeps going away. You can't build any kind of momentum, but you got to practice on someone." By the way, going to dinner with your 84-year-old father in Milwaukee, we're talking Outback, 4:30. Okay. The waitress came to the table. My father looked at the waitress and said, "You are very good looking. You look very familiar. Are you an actress?" "You are very good looking. You look very familiar. Are you an actress?" And she said, No, I'm a waitress." "What would you like to drink?" He got the coffee. She goes away. She comes back. My dad goes, "You just seem so familiar to me. I feel a connection with you. Maybe we've met before." And she goes, "Maybe. I meet a lot of people. What would you like to eat?" He got the steak. She goes away. She comes back at the end of the meal. My father goes, "Well, it's been very nice meeting you. I hope I see you around again." And she goes, "Maybe. Here's the bill." Now, there are 3 beats to this thing. The first beat you say in a non-threatening general way, "Well played. Nice work." Second beat, you say, "I feel a connection with you. I'm kind of sorry we've never met before." Third beat, my dad's like, "Very important." Third beat, you gotta let it go. Gotta let it go. You give it a shot. You say, "Well, it's been very nice meeting you. I hope I see you around again." If she's interested, she will talk more to you. You will start another round, and eventually, you will sell that woman windows. I love my father a great deal. And if you were to look at him objectively, actually, I don't recommend that. I recommend you look at him subjectively through the love in my eyes, because he's very smart, he's very good with money, he loves talking to people. Actually, like 3 weeks ago, he calls me up and he's like, "So I'm watching TV, and at the commercial, there's an opportunity to get a free $100 square pillow." I was like, "Yeah?" He goes, "Yeah." So I called him up and I was like, "I'd like my free square pillow." And he said, "Well, give us your information." I did. I hung up. Moments later, guy calls back, different guy, to sell me a $6,000 electric bed. And I was like, "Yeah, that's what that's for, Dad." He's like, I know. I talked to him for like 90 minutes. And it was great. $6,000 electric bed. Talked him down to $3,600. And then he finally said, "You know, you give me $100 over the phone and then send me $100 a month. We'll bring the bed over to your apartment." And I said, "You know, I'm 84. I'm going in tomorrow for heart surgery. If I live, I'll call you back." Click. So he's like, guy was a pretty good salesman. I think I saved like 3 old people having to talk to that guy. He's very good at a lot of different things. Like he's my brother Russ, who lives in Milwaukee, hangs out with him all the time. He's like, sometimes Dad will tell me that if I get a certain stock in like a week and a half, I can turn it around and make like 10 grand. And I remember the first time he told me that, I was like, really? And he's like, yeah, you should. Don't bother though. And my brother Russ is like, why wouldn't I? No, I want to make 10,000. Why wouldn't I do that? He's like, well, there's not really fun in that. It's because you could make $250,000 if you invest in this other stock. And some sort of mousetrappy kind of Rube Goldberg thing happened, where like a swan came by and rolling a bowling ball. You could make like $250,000. And my brother Russ goes, I think I'm just gonna do the $10,000 thing, Dad. And my dad's like, it's boring, but okay. So he's done it like 6 times, and he has like a Scrooge McDuck pile of money. And I was like, hey, Russ, you got 5 siblings over here. When Dad tells you something like that, why don't you call the rest of us? And my brother Russ goes, why don't you call your dad more often? He's not wrong. I did call my dad not long ago, and I was talking to him, and I said, I just making conversation. And I said, I turned down a gig. And he goes, you just turned it down. And I said, yeah, didn't want to do it, Dad. And he goes, what was the first thing I taught you? And I was mad because I didn't like his tone of voice. And so I said, I don't know, pick up other people's change. And he became very angry since he's never said that. He said, no, the first thing I taught you all was never say no without a number. And I was like, that does sound familiar. What the heck does it mean? He goes, you don't say no. You say, I'd love to do that. I'm going to need, and then you pick a giant number. And I was like, 17 grand. He's like, that's a good number. He's like, odd number, strong. He's like, I would love to do that. I'm going to need $17,000. And then they say, oh my gosh, we don't have $17,000. And then you say back, well, thank you so much for thinking of me. If your budget ever goes up, keep me in mind. But know that my prices are always rising. So you can turn it down in perpetuity. And I was like, that's the greatest thing in the world. I'm totally going to do that. And I tried to do it, and I did it wrong. I asked for $2,000, and I got it. So I called my dad, and I said, never say no without a number didn't work, Dad. And he goes, yeah, every experience is a learning experience. What'd you ask for? And I said, $2 grand. He said, no, you know what you learned? Everyone has $2 grand. Yes. And now I have $2 grand, but I have to go to Montana in February. My dad is very much an old school capitalist, right? He thinks that there are tools on the table. You either use them or they get used against you. Actually, in his case, there's a third option. He is bored and he uses them on your behalf. It is a lot like trying to iron something poorly in front of your mother, and then she takes the iron and does it for you. That's what happened. My dad lives in what he calls an old people apartment building, and I was like, Dad, you're 84. What's old to you? And he goes, dead. Dead is old. Any day of the week, you can get a free DVD player in this building. And he says, okay, so I'm walking by the common area, and inside the common area, there's an old guy, like 94, 95 years old. He had just gotten out of the hospital. He had just had surgery, and he has Medicare. He has secondary insurance, but he was kind of freaking out. He was almost crying because he had gotten 2 more bills, one from the hospital, one from the surgeon, for more money, for like 30 grand, 35 grand, and he was really upset. My dad pauses, and he goes, can you believe people think they got to pay hospital bills? And I was like, Dad, they're bills. People pay bills. And he's like, not a hospital. You die on a hospital money, that's a win right there. You send them $5 a month, you're trying. They can't do anything. Can't put a lien on anything or garnish your wages. And if that hospital gets any kind of federal funding, they have to do a certain amount of sliding fee scale billing. They don't want to give you the paperwork, but eventually, I'm like, pardon me, Mr. Incredible, while I take notes and tell several hundred people in Minnesota. You ever see The Incredibles? The most heroic moment of The Incredibles was when that guy finds that paperwork for that old lady. And the rest of the movie, quite nice. But that movie, heroic. Okay. My dad says, I can't handle it. So I go in and I tell the guy, I'm like, get the bills, get your checkbook, we'll come into my apartment, we'll take care of this. So they go back into my dad's apartment, and then my dad gets to call the hospital billing. Fun! It's his favorite thing. So he calls the hospital billing, and he's talking to this woman. He's like, I'm talking to this woman, and I was like, so my buddy owes you $17,000. I'm sitting next to him. You're never going to see this money. And the hospital billing lady's like, but he was in the hospital. And my dad's like, you've already been paid twice. Medicare, secondary insurance, you're triple dipping. I'm sitting right next to him. He's not going to make it. He's barely sitting up. He was in the hospital just a minute ago. Did you know that? The woman goes, he's not going to make it? Well, could he give us like $600 over the phone with a routing number and then we'll write it off? And my dad's like, yeah, we could totally do that. So they give him a routing number and they hang up. And my dad goes, now we're going to go talk to the surgeon. He's right here in Milwaukee. I'll drive. Lincoln Town Car, 99. They get into the car at around 4:30 in the afternoon on a Thursday. They drive to the surgeon's office. And my dad goes into the surgeon's office. He goes up to the receptionist and says, my buddy owes you 15 grand. He's here. He's got his checkbook. We'd love to talk to the surgeon. The receptionist is like, please come and sit down. So it's 5 to 5 on a Thursday. And my dad is like, starts in with the surgeon. He's like, yeah, you're never going to see this money. Look at this guy. He can barely sit up. He just had surgery. And the surgeon's like, but I did the surgery. He's like, you're triple dipping. You're never going to see this money. Surgeon lasted almost an hour 15. Finally said, give me $200, get the heck out of my office. So they write the check. And they're driving home. And my dad goes, so we're driving home. And I say to the old guy, let's stop at McDonald's and get a senior coffee. You could buy me a senior coffee. Get this, guy would not buy me a senior coffee. 59-cent senior coffee, guy wouldn't do it. And I was like, Dad, why would that guy want to spend another heartbeat with you? You just spent 5 hours telling anyone who would listen that he was a dead person. He's like, yeah, but I just saved him like 30 grand. And I was like, did you do it for the coffee? And he's like, yeah. I don't need to get paid a lot. I just need something. Anyway. My father he's a good guy. When I had breakfast with him, he said, you know, your Uncle Johnny's son Jimmy has the dream job. And I was like, yeah? You know, I'm on TV sometimes, Dad. What's the dream job? And he goes, he drives a cement truck. I was like, wait, that's the dream job? And he goes, yeah, you know the truck that spins? He gets to drive that truck. I was like, yeah, that's the dream job? He said, yeah, he gets to drive up into buildings and pour cement. I'm like, wait, driving a cement truck is the dream job? And my dad goes, it's the truck that spins, Jackie. So inside of my very sophisticated 84-year-old father is a toddler who would desperately like to drive a concrete mixer. I have been corrected.
A really strange thing happens to you when you become a father, which is that you just sort of drift into the background of your family and you become wallpaper. There's 4 members of my family, and I'm in 4th place. Growing up, my dad would always say, I'm the LVP of our family. And I'd say, no, you're not. You're just a fucking drama queen. But now that I'm a dad, I so get it. I so get it. My wife's happiness, my boy's happiness, it genuinely matters more to me than my own. As a father, your job is to pay for everything and shut the up about it. But it really dings your psyche to go from first place to last so quickly. It really messes with your head, and that's why all of our dads were so weird. Everyone in this room's dad was so weird. Growing up, my dad would get up every morning at 4 a.m. and take a bath. That's weird. That's really weird. But now that I'm a father, I've never understood anything so much in my entire life. I'm like, Dad, yes, get your bath time, dude. Because you know what never asked for a piece of bread with peanut butter on it, and then when you gave it to them, said that they didn't like peanut butter or bread? The Sunrise never did that, and neither did that fucking bath. Here's my thing. Here's how I've changed. Now that I'm a father, I can't talk to waiters fast enough. I just want a dialogue with every waiter. I want to see and be seen by waiters. And I was never rude before, but it was perfunctory. I was just trying to get the food or whatever. But now, I just want to talk. That's how lonely I am. Like if I clean my plate, you know what I mean? Like I enjoyed the meal or whatever, and the waiter comes to retrieve it, I'm the guy now who's just like, guess I didn't like that at all. Like, what the happened to me? I used to be kind of cool. Here's my move. Here's my opening line with waiters. Here's what I do. I'll say, hey, what's good to eat here? Yeah, I put the ball in their court. Hey, what do you like to eat here? What a culinary trust fall that is. You know, it's a thrill ride. Because you have to eat whatever they suggest after asking. What kind of maniac asks the waiter what's good to eat here and then summarily rejects whatever they say? Hey man, what's good to eat at this restaurant? What do you like? Oh my God, out of all the restaurants I've ever worked at, the chef does the best fish and chips I've ever had in my entire life. Oh really? I'll get the BLT, you idiot. We're landlocked, Kenny. What is the chef, a wizard with frozen cod? Out of here. But here's the thing, you don't even have to be at a sit-down restaurant to pull that move. You can pull it anywhere if you're lonely enough. The other day, I was at a Jimmy John's. I broke it out. At the kid working, I go, hey man, what's good at this Jimmy John's? Hey dude, what do you like at this Jimmy John's? He thought about it for a second. He was like, the chips. He couldn't think of a single sandwich he was willing to get behind. But he was all in on the chips, and everyone in this room knows he's right. Those chips are delicious. They're crunchy, they're not too greasy, there's a lot of them. One bag of Jimmy John's chips is almost enough to make you forget about that photo of the CEO shooting an elephant. Jimmy John's, where the secret ingredient is ivory. I'll do it again. Jimmy John's, where the secret ingredient is ivory. That's the teaser. That's the teaser. I could feel it. Chop it up. Send it to Netflix. They'll be like, no thanks. That desire to be seen and recognized as a father, I don't think it gets better with time. I think just the opposite. It only gets worse. Because I was recently at an ice cream shop with my son, and we walked in, and the only other customers in the shop were some grandparents who had a grandchild about my son's age, and the kid working the register. And they were in line in front of us, and the little boy in line in front of us had to go to the bathroom, and the grandmother took him to the bathroom, leaving the grandfather alone, and it was this dude's time to shine. And he looked to make sure that the door had shut. And we waited till it closed, and then he just leaned in, and he goes, you know, I used to work at an ice cream shop, too. Yeah, Rhode Island, 1969. And the girl looked at him like, I'm 15 and don't understand what's happening right now. And he goes, let me ask you something. My grandson, he's gonna spill all down the front of his shirt and make a goddamn mess. You guys got a bib back there I could put on him, maybe try to salvage the situation a little bit? She's like, bibs? No, we don't have bibs. I could give you 100 and possibly thin napkins. And he was like, don't have any bibs? Don't have any bibs? Okay, all right. How about this? Do you have one of the necklaces with the two clips on either end that you could clip around a to-go cup and I could sort of rig around his neck like a horse with a feeding bag type scenario? And me and the girl looked at each other like, what ice cream shop did you work at? That these were ever options at all? And then the grandma came out, and he was like, "Oh, gotta go," and he like ran back to the shadow that he exists in. And I so wish that grandma had not emerged in that moment, so I could have seen how batshit this was about to get. It's like, you don't have the horse feeding bag thing either? Okay, all right. How about this? You got one of them mesh sacks you can put 5 to 7 to-go pints into and then string around your torso like a bandolier from the Spanish-American War? You don't have that either? Huh. All right, how about some sprinkles in the shape of various U.S. Navy ships? We'll just be on our way. No? Well, then just have the kid come out from the back, sing as Jeremiah was a bullfrog, and we'll go. I thought this was an ice cream shop. And that's when I realized there's no fucking way this guy ever worked at an ice cream shop. He's just a weird old man who wants to talk to anybody. I could follow this dude around for days, and he would pull the same sad grift everywhere he went. I could see him the next day at a coffee shop. He just leans in. He's like, I used to work at a coffee shop too. Yeah, New Hampshire, 77. And back then, they didn't call us fancy baristas, neither. We were the Cup of Joe boys, and we didn't take any shit. And let me ask you a question. You still do the promotion where if the customer rips off their shirt and you pour a scalding hot pot of coffee on their chest and they don't cry out in pain, it's free? Because I accept! I used to be an astronaut too. Yeah, International Space Station, 88. And let me tell you something, wasn't all kumbaya neither back then. If you saw a Ruski coming down the hallway, you ripped his helmet off and you shoved him out the exit hatch so his head would explode, because he'd do it to you if you had half the chance. January 6th. He's at the Capitol. I tried to overthrow the government once too. Yeah, Oregon, 91. And back then we weren't taking selfies at Nancy Pelosi's desk. We were writing manifestos and we were blowing up post offices. Now let's hang Mike Pence. You guys call your grandpas. If you're not talking to them, Fox News is, and it's getting pretty weird. It's getting pretty weird.
Very grateful for that. We just celebrated 4 years of marriage, going 4 years strong. Sure, yeah. That's an appropriate amount of applause. It's not that long, really. I've had these jeans longer. But so far, so good. And, I do think we've been together 7 years all in, and it feels like we're just now entering into that next phase where, we went to a friend's wedding recently, and we saw the newlyweds just, all over each other, and we were like, that's gonna fade. You excited to go home tonight and not touch? Me too. I booked us separate beds. Feels good, right? Like a rite of passage, we've earned it. But I do love the newlyweds, I love going to weddings and stuff. Do we have any newlyweds in the room right now? Oh, right here. I saw you, man. What's your name? Trevor and Jenna. Did you get married here in Salt Lake or where? In Draper. It's Salt Lake City? Oh, he's just letting you know, he's like, it's like the nice part. Is that what he's doing? Is that what he's doing? And y'all honeymoon? Where'd you go? Scottsdale. Okay, so that kind of brought it down a notch, didn't it? Yeah. We're from Draper. No, but I had a refund from a spring break trip, so. What do you want? No, that's great, y'all. Jenna, how's the wedding day? Everything you dreamt of, beautiful? Amazing day. Okay, are you playing everything? This isn't like a therapy session. It was just, we're taping a special. All I needed was, yes, my wedding was great. She's like, in the Mormon culture, it's really a lot of work. I don't care. But if it really is that much work, you should have put a lot more effort into the honeymoon. I'm gonna be honest about that. Babe, we've got a putting green for you. Okay, but I just want this for the special. Can you just answer this question? Yeah. Can you? Okay, all right. Jenna, how's the wedding? Everything you hope to dream of? Beautiful day? Oh my God, give it up for her. I'm so glad. Good. Happy for you. I love a good wedding. I love going to weddings. I loved our wedding, but they're kind of this cookie cutter event, right? It's kind of the same thing every time, you know? And people try to get creative with these new trends. I put my foot down on a few of these Katie wanted to do. Like, y'all ever been to a wedding and you're just waiting to like go inside, but first they have to announce the bridal party in like an NBA starting five? You know, like, welcome to the stage, Carly and Ethan. Sit down. Grow up. I can't do it, fellas. I've been to so many weddings, way too many, 10 plus weddings. I can't do it. If I have to go to another Joseph A. Banks to get fit for a suit, I'm gonna lose it. Fellas, you ever been measured for a suit and the guy measuring you, his suit doesn't fit? You're just up there in MC Hammer pants. Or can we stop the thank you notes? No more thank you notes, please. Right? We need to stop acting like a wedding is a gift and a thank you. No, it's just a transfer of goods and services. You give me free party, I give you cookie sheets, we're done here. We're done. That's why if you invite me to a dry wedding, I'm gonna mail you an invoice. An invoice, yeah. For my time. But you know, every good wedding has good music, so we thought we'd add to it. Can you give it up for Alan, who's on the keyboard over there, on the grand. This is a song we wrote called White People Weddings. Hope you enjoy it. This wedding's not like other weddings around. I know you spent a lot of time on your big day. You tried so hard to stand out from the crowd, but this wedding is literally exactly the same. But I know that this is your special day. I don't want to rain on your parade, but Jenna, I don't know what to say, but this looks like Pinterest got puked on by Joanna Gaines. White people weddings, your creepy uncle's drunk. White people weddings, your black friends don't know what's up. But white people weddings, can we play something other than Uptown Funk? White people weddings. We having a good time tonight, Utah? What a beautiful day, celebrating forever. Coming all this way has been an honor. What do I get in return for all my time and effort? A thank you note 8 months later. A thank you note 8 months later. I can tell you did not mean the thank you at all. You just inserted my name into a 3-sentence template. I can tell your wife forced you to write it. You know the words.